And let me start by introducing everybody. I met Bree when she started, but also our special guests today. We have two special guests, Mitch Silver with Printable Promotions and Sarah Whitaker. Sarah it runs an amazing company called Williams Advertising. They recently launched another company called Branded. And we had a podcast episode that we recorded recently that we can kick out to you. You can check it out at SKUcast. It's actually last week's episode. That was a lot of fun. So Sarah, thank you for doing this. Real quick about the format. We know in this session we have a lot of material to cover, and we know it's impossible. So to cover as much as we do. I have done full day workshops on shops that I feel like I haven't covered enough. So there are things I just want you to know in advance that we are going to continue to share things about shops and stores and things like that. We have webinars, we have other resources. So we're going to cover highlights today so that you can see how other people are using shops and using the platform. That's our main goal, so you can get another perspective. So I'm going to kick it over to Bree and actually ask Bree, because something you need to know is Bree and I, we fan over these shops all the time. So we see cool things that you guys are building, share it with us, because we love looking and seeing what you're doing. Bree, let's do this with Sarah's for a little bit. What do you see that you love about what Sarah's done with her shops?
Okay, I'm going to have a hard time containing this, so I'll try to make it as quick as possible.
Okay, cool.
Before I even gush over the shops, I'm going to have to start actually with Sarah's marketing. So I'm going to kick off with an email campaign that she sent on behalf of her client to the different shoppers. Now, this campaign has so many elements to it. It's got a point of contact for them. It's got instructions on how the shop are going to work and actually images of the product so they know what to expect. It's got a link for the shop so they can do their shopping. It's got a how-to video in case they need some support on placing their order. And then it's got a custom coupon code at the bottom as well. So there is so much packed into this single email. So I just imagine being the shopper and getting this, I know what to do right away. And if I don't know what to do, I've got a lot of different options to figure that out. So that's gushing over marketing. Gushing over the shop. By the time that the shoppers are actually coming in here, they already know what to expect. Navigation is going to be easy. They can place their order. Seamless experience for the shopper, and also a reassuring experience for your client, I'm sure, Sarah, because they know that their shoppers are taken care of.
Yes.
I'm going to jump on right away. This is going to be mile a minute. Anybody who trains with me knows this. So the next one I have to gush over, this is the mixer. I can't even gush over the shop. I've just got to touch on some details in here. And this one in particular, I love how you have differentiated the product, Sarah, for the pickup versus the ship to me, not only using the titles, but by making those custom little icons. Like, I love that direction. And again, as the shopper, it just takes away any point of confusion so they know what they can expect. Points of confusion sometimes, that mobile shopping experience too. So using shops on your phone. Sarah has created this mobile shop guide. It has been so hard for me not to share this with other people.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. So again, shopper knows what to do. Instructions are going to be clear. I've got one more thing to gush on, and then I can stop and pass the floor back to you two. I just want to talk about kind of marketing the shops in general. So we're now taking it out of something that was for a particular client, and we're talking about showing shops to really any client. So she's got that branded landing page that has the hyperlinked shops images. So if they click that image, it takes them to the shop. Sarah has also ventured into that dreaded iframe territory, which she assures me wasn't too bad, and she has embedded a shop with an iframe as well. So just mad props to you, Sarah. That is all that I'm going to gush over for now.
I love it. I love it. Sarah, let's talk about some of these shops specifically. Higgins, what's the purpose behind the Higgins shop?
Yeah, really, it was to get the client, the main point of contact, out of the paper ordering, going around to multiple people and the different branches that they have and accumulating everything without her. She got to do the fun part. She got to shop and pick all the things and make sure it was on brand, and then she turned it over.
How did all of these enhancements that you do to the shops? One thing I want to add is that user experience is becoming so far more important, as I led with what's happening in marketing and the digital landscapes and that marketing and sales. All these things you're doing are so vital to the marketing, the sales experience. How did these enhancements drive sales?
Well, the first thing, because we've done it without, we've done it where either we are not able to email everybody, or it is something where the client has not, failure to launch, I guess, a little bit. And so, it was helpful because we saw orders coming in as soon as we sent the email. And then we did actually, right before we closed it, we did a follow-up last chance, extended one more day email, and we saw orders get in right there at the end. So it drove sales for them.
That's huge. And the other thing I want to stress, we had a credit union client one time that they had $150 for apparel for employees. And it was funny how much we had to get people to actually go spend their free money. So these marketing tactics that you're doing are vital. How did the $100 gift voucher work for this?
It worked great. And actually the client, the first day, as soon as we sent that out, they forwarded an email to us that was sent to all the partners of the organization. And it was a team member just gushing over how appreciative they were that was given out. So this was a thank you to their team, and it really, it did its job.
Yeah, that's cool. You created both the explainer video and a visual guide for the mixer. Mm-hmm. You had different formats. Why the different formats, and what kind of feedback did you get from your client? That's what I'm really curious about too. You got two audiences. You have the end user who's going to have the shop experience, and then you're impressing your client to some degree with these resources you're building, which is what I love.
Yes, we got feedback from the client and just said, this looks great. It's, professional. It is something that's, it was super helpful. And they said, great job as always. It was just kind of one of those things, going the extra mile to make that happen for the client.
Tell me about the Mixer employee fundraiser shop. What was that all about?
Okay, so this one came from, COVID hit. This organization, this local restaurant, 26 employees, had just opened a couple of months before COVID. So of course they had to shut down. They had to lay off all their employees, and the owners were really feeling in a bad place about that. And so they launched, this was a community fundraiser. And so they wanted to sell t-shirts. And I said, okay, let's throw them out online and get, because everybody's remote right now, let's get this going. So we just turned that up, and then we gave them, like this image you see here is something for their social media, and they used it. And so not only are they not having to stress about, they are stressing about the business situation, but they're not having to stress about how to market the shop and get that out there. So it was just kind of a turnkey solution for them to be able to communicate that was even a thing. And the fun thing about the shirt design on this one was playing off the whole toilet paper shortage. We spelled the name out in toilet paper. So it was just kind of a great way to help them out. So nice to have the shop for that.
That's cool. Do you have a favorite shop experience you've built for a customer outside of the Mixer shop? Is there another one? You've got a lot of things brewing, so I'm just curious if you're currently working on something else.
No, I love the heart behind that one, because they gave 100% of the proceeds to the employees. That's and cool. So that is, and that was our first shop that we built on commonsku too. So it's got a special place for sure. Yeah.
What do you recommend? You and I did a podcast, so folks can check that out from last week. But one of the things that you said you love is this transition from doing presentations to doing shops, and just the flow that you can get into. Yes. Are you in the process of are you using this as a prospecting tool, biz dev tool? If so, how?
Yes. So we have on our newly launched website, we have a lot of different shops for a lot of different things. And I think my favorite part about the integration is that we start internally with a presentation. So we start a project, we start a presentation, and we go back and forth, and we use a lot of the tasking tools and the back and forth communication within commonsku. And so we build everything there initially, and then we flip it over to a marketing shop and have that live. And so then let's say I get an email blast from a supplier in, we add that quickly to the shop, or a new collection comes out. We add all of those things to the shop, and it replicates everywhere. Even if I've just sent that email out to a client, a prospect, somebody, and I'm saying, here's our drinkware shop, or whatever that might be. And it instantly is where we want it to, everywhere. So it's a huge time saver and marketing tool for us.
Cool. How, another question here from Rich Patterson. Rich is also an incredible shop pro. The guy does some amazing stores. Hey, Rich, privacy concerns and email list sharing. Do these corporate clients give you the staff list, or do you give them materials in advance that they send out? Do you do both, or does that just depend on the client?
It depends on the client. This particular client gave us their email list. That was not a big deal for them. They know when we're not going to abuse that, of course. But we do have clients that don't allow that. And so like somebody that maybe hosts it on their intranet, we have a client that we just provided flyers and things that they could digitally send out. And we mocked up the shop in that way. It's not the same because we can't get them directly to, link out and do the fun emails. I saw somebody ask about, we use MailChimp for those emails, super easy. So, it's a little more fun when we can embed all the things. But
one of the things I want to add about trust is that if you can build these assets for your customer before you go ask permission and show them exactly what you're going to do, here's the assets, here's what they're going to look like, here's the strategy as we go forward, you're going to get their buy-in. A lot of times they'll look at you sometimes and go, nah, you're our promo person. We'll handle the marketing side. But if you put together a cohesive plan, they'll typically, they don't want to add more work. They'll typically go let you go ahead and build that for you. And it's so vital that if you can do the marketing, because there's no such thing as you can't, shops, the biggest lesson that we all learn is that you build it and they will come. That doesn't exist. You have to sell your shop once you've launched it.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Sarah, you've been so awesome. And again, you guys can check it out, the podcast that we did out on the SKUcast. Sarah, I can't tell you how much we just gush over all your shops. And thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Talk to you.
All right. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Mitch Silver, where's our friend Mitch? Going to join us on stage. Mitch and I go a little ways back, actually, a little ways. Mitch, I don't know. We've known each other for a long time. I won't even say the number. We've known each other for a long time. I know Mitch and the types of work that he does. One of the things I respect the most, Mitch, is with Printable Promotions, is that he runs an organization that is a true sales shop in the sense of they think about process all the time. They have an internal strategy. They have an external strategy. There's a lot of processes baked into their business. So that's really cool. Welcome, Mitch. Glad you're here, man. Bree, let's let you go through Mitch's shops and just see what you love about that. Sorry about rushing everybody too. I know we're limited on time.
I was going to say to that, mile a minute fashion. I'm going to dive into Mitch's shops right away.
Okay.
What I want to start with, and it is hard to be brief about this one, is just this landing page that Mitch's team has created for their website visitors. So many elements happening in here. They've got a GIF of their pop-up shop, so they're able to see that in action. They've got some guides, shop examples. They're also kind of addressing some of the frequently asked questions or concerns that might come up from clients about the shops as well. So really proactive by adding the additional detail in there just to help either kind of direct where the questions are going to go or even answer questions before clients had them. So I love that. There's a lot to unpack here. I'm going to keep it brief with that note. I do actually just want to dive into one of the shop examples that their team created. I love this one. So it's an out-of-the-world kind of demo pop-up shop, something that the website visitors can go into, and then they get a feel for what it's going to be like. So using that shop splash screen as a tool to really guide them on what to expect, and also let them know, hey, we can make some other shops for you as well, not a one-time thing. From there, they're going in, and Mitch's team has created custom products that actually work as kind of instruction tiles. So we're not necessarily selling them an item of an overview, but he's giving them an overview. So that's getting additional information into the shop itself. Wrapping it up, again, just looking at adding hyperlinked shops into the website. So this is the latest swag trend shops, and this is actually super easy to find because at the very top of the web page, they can just click that and it's going to take them to these shops examples. These are live marketing shops that people can place orders through. I'm going to bring this full circle with 1 second because right beside the shop, the latest swag trends, you can also learn about the popular services. And if the website visitors click that, it actually just redirects them to an area that they can go back to that pop-up area as well. So really tying everything together, making it, again, a seamless experience for whoever is visiting.
Great job, Mitch. You created a FAQ on your site. Why did you feel it was important to do that?
Well, motion creates emotion here, Bobby. So I'm at my standing desk. Hopefully my head is not glaring too much off. You guys can all see me okay. We found that clients really had a lot of questions about the logistics about how the shop works. So while pop-up shops are easy for all of us to grasp because we live in this world every day, when you get down to it, there's a lot of moving parts to these things. So the most common question we get is, what is the process like to create a pop-up shop? What are the steps? And so what Bree's showing on the screen right there is this landing page where we have steps 1 through 4. And basically step 4 is the one that gets the most comments from clients. So we basically told people, hey, you're wondering how long it takes to get product to people's doorsteps? Well, we're going to say 20 to 22 days. Well, how did we come up with that number? So first, it takes a couple days to close the shop with the client, place the sales orders, the POs, et cetera. There's typical vendor production times, and then we add on the time it takes for us to fulfill the order in-house. Then we look at the average transit time for a package to ship USPS to somebody. And that enables us to share this range of 20 to 22 days. Now, it obviously changed in December when things were a little haywire, but this extra math really goes a long way, because what clients really want to know is, hey, I want people to get this gift on X date. When do I need to set up the shop? When does the shop need to close so that people can get the things when I want them to get them? So with this extra bit of backwards math, I think really helps people, and it lays it out there clearly for them on the website.
That's cool. One of the challenges we know with a customer is typically a customer will come to you with one problem, and that's why they want to build a shop. We want to get these gifts to our employees at Christmas time or whatever it might be. They have one problem they're trying to resolve. They don't see all the potential things that they could do with shops. They don't see past whatever that fire is that they have right there. So you're really good at prompting clients to think about how to use shops. What's the most popular and most helpful for them?
So Bree, you can see right there. So basically we laid out 10 examples of how somebody could use a shop. So we created demo versions of all these shops. These were actually at one point live shops, and we simply copied, well, we tried to copy, actually, this is probably a good bit of feedback for our comments queue. The task of actually copying a shop is difficult. It's a little tedious, but I know that's being worked on, right, Bree? That's coming any day now, right?
Yes.
No pressure. But by far, of all the 10 that Bree is showing up on the screen, the most popular one is the Choose a Gift Shop. As Danny Rosen, a friend of mine, has championed many times, it's no longer okay to give just one gift to somebody. You really need to give people a choice, and that's really where things are at. So, in fact, one of the interesting things about a shop we created, one of my colleagues, Omar, recently created a shop where the person had a choice of one of the gifts, or they could choose to donate the cost of that gift to a charity that we then detailed out in the checkout questions. So these were clients around the world. So we said, okay, if you're a UK client, here's the 3 charities: Germany, 3 charities; United States, 3 charities. So that was a big hit. Big hit.
Yeah, I love that. We know that with shops, you can't believe in the build it and they will come. You've got to help clients. As Sarah said, and as you demonstrate, we've got to help clients market their shops. What are some of the things you're doing to help market shops?
Yeah, that's a good question. We all want bigger orders, right? So the challenge comes, like, how do we get our clients to encourage more people within their organization or their target audience to participate in the pop-up shop? And specifically, I'm talking about pop-up shops here. So we suggest to clients, like, don't keep your pop-up shop open for more than 2 to 3 weeks, because invariably what happens, human nature takes over and we procrastinate, right? So if you give people more than 3 weeks, they're going to take more than 3 weeks. So typically we tell them 2 to 3 weeks. And then over the course of those 2 to 3 weeks, we even suggest an email cadence for them. So it might go something like this: email 1, hey, we've got this wonderful way of saying thank you to you. Here's the link. It's going to be closed on this date. The next email, maybe a week later, would say, hey, just a friendly reminder, don't forget to choose your gift. It's closing on this date. And email 3 might be, hey, only 2 more days until the shop closes. And then the last day might be, hey, last chance, last call. The shop closes today at 5 o'clock. So I think that's a good way to sort of help the client frame the marketing and then encourage them to do it, because of course we want the bigger orders. One other interesting thing, Bobby, I was thinking about this earlier today. You had suggested doing a post-op after a shop closes with a client. And I think we've done 3 of them so far. And I think it's been really great because, we review things like, what were the most popular items in the shop? Hey, did we meet our delivery promises of 20 to 22 days? And what was the participation percentage? I think people really, they really eat up those statistics. And then just a little bit of information for the audience here. We found that when the email inviting someone to choose a gift comes from goes outside of the organization to like a Gmail, a Yahoo, or something like that, participation rates tend to hover around 65 to 75%, either because email gets blocked or never makes it through a firewall. But when it's going within the organization, so the @companyname.com, it goes between 75 and 85%. So as you alluded to earlier, even when you're giving away free gifts to people, you don't get 100% participation.
Yeah. I'm real curious too about what you do internally. Like you guys have a lot of codified processes, and what are you doing sort of offline, so to speak, to market your shops?
Yeah, sure. I mean, earlier in the earlier session, you and Kate covered this topic of marketing as a new sales, and we're really intentional with our marketing. We typically plan our marketing 1 quarter at a time. And although I have to say in 2020, a lot of it was 1 week at a time because things were constantly changing.
Right.
The year that it was. So I would say we have three main objectives for, just give you an example for Q1. Number one, we're constantly reminding clients that we print and ship gifts directly to home offices, domestically and internationally. Number two, we can help with your virtual events. I think we're all sending that message. And number three, we can set up a pick a gift shop to show your appreciation. So most of those messages are sent out from our marketing team on behalf of the sales team. And then we also do a few direct mail campaigns to supplement that.
Very cool. Mitch, thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate you all the time. Sarah, thank you guys both for joining us. This has been awesome. And I know we'll be chatting soon. Thanks again, Mitch. Thanks for joining us, folks. We're going to head back to the main stage. And again, we have more resources we can send you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me as well. See you soon, friends.
Hey, well.